Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilji and here are the headlines. India and Italy signed 6 agreements, including in the areas of railway safety and mutual trade. During meetings with his Italian counterpart, Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks coordinated action on counter-terrorism and cyber security. Supreme Court asks West Bengal government how can it challenge the parliament's mandate on making Aadhaar mandatory to avail welfare benefits. Directs State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to file the petition as an individual. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurates Vigilance Awareness Week 2017, underscores the need for a clean polity for good governance and to make India a stronger economic path. And amid calls for civil disobedience by separatist politicians, Spain increases police presence in government institutions in Catalonia. Streets remain calm and normal work resumes on the first working day of the way. All that in a bit, but first, India and Italy inked 6 pacts on Monday, which included plans on boosting cooperation in energy and trade sectors after extensive talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Italian counterpart Paolo Gentiloni. The two leaders also held discussions on various issues such as terrorism and cybercrime. Gentiloni is on a 2-day visit to India, becoming the first Italian Prime Minister to visit India in a decade.
In a delegation-level talks with his Italian counterpart Paolo Gentiloni, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pitched for coordinated action on counter-terrorism and cyber-security. Gentiloni is on a 2-day visit to India. In March 2018, India and Italy will be completing 70 years of diplomatic relations. Both leaders, who later addressed a joint media event, also discussed ways to strengthen the bilateral political and economic relations between India and Italy.
हम दोनों आतंकवाद के सभी रूपों से लड़ने और साइबर सिक्योरिटी पर सहयोग मजबूत करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। दोनों पक्ष साझा चुनौतियां एवं हितों के मामलों में विभिन्न वैश्विक मंचों पर एक दूसरे का समर्थन करने और निकट सहयोग करने पर सहमत हैं।
I believe that relaunching our diplomatic relations provides a major opportunity to do more. And of course, as Mr. Modi was saying, also to confirm our common approach to global challenges we have before us, from climate change to combating terrorism to defending the values of democracy.
Praising the strong ties between India and Italy, Modi noted there is a huge potential to widen India-Italy trade ties. After the Modi-Gentiloni meeting, both sides signed 6 pacts, including in areas of railway safety and mutual trade investments.
Flagship programs and projects में इटालियन कंपनियों द्वारा और मजबूत भागीदारी को प्रोत्साहित करना चाहेंगे। भारतीय कंपनियों के साथ कोलैबोरेशन में उनके लिए अपार संभावनाएं हैं। स्मार्ट सिटीज, फूड प्रोसेसिंग, फार्मास्यूटिकल्स, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जैसे अनेक क्षेत्रों में हमारी आवश्यकताओं, इटली की विशेषज्ञता एवं क्षमताओं से बहुत मिलती-जुलती है।
India is a country which we need to work with to further improve our cooperation. Mr. Modi has indicated some very important branches in which cooperation can take place. Railway infrastructures, major shipyards, the challenge of renewables.
Both Prime Ministers also interacted with 12 Indian and 19 Italian business leaders. Earlier in the day, Gentiloni was accorded ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The visiting leader called on President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also called on Gentiloni to discuss issues of mutual interest. Gentiloni arrived in New Delhi on Sunday for the first such visit by an Italian Prime Minister in a decade.
It's a relaunch of diplomatic relationship between India and Italy. Economically, we had been doing well, and indeed, there are directions that we will do well. But now it is time for political convergence. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person D.K. Pandey in Delhi.
In more national news, in fact, the Supreme Court has said that a constitution bench be set up to hear the clutch of petitions challenging the centre's decision to make Aadhaar mandatory for availing various services and government welfare schemes. The constitution bench would commence hearing on these petitions in the last week of November. Earlier on Monday, the Apex Court took to task the West Bengal government for filing a plea challenging the centre's move. It asked the state government how could it challenge the mandate of Parliament, and then directed West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to file the plea as an individual. A 9-judge constitution bench had recently held that the right to privacy was a fundamental right under the Constitution. This after several petitioners challenging the validity of Aadhaar said that the scheme violates individual privacy rights. The petitioners had also termed the linking of Aadhaar with bank accounts and mobile numbers as illegal and unconstitutional. The deadline for this mandatory linking has been extended till 31st of March next year for those who currently do not have it but were willing to have it. However, the centre told the court that the absence of an Aadhaar card would not mean denial of benefits of welfare schemes. And continuing its hearing in the Kerala love jihad case, the Supreme Court said that it will hear the testimony of Akhila Ashokan, alias Ihadia, on the 27th of November. A 3-judge bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra directed her father to produce her in court on that date. The testimony will be recorded at an open court hearing. The bench is hearing a petition filed by Hadia's husband, Shafin Jahan. It seeks to overturn the orders of the Kerala High Court that annulled his marriage with the 24-year-old. The bench said that the consent of Hadia, who converted to Islam to marry a Muslim man, for the marriage is crucial as she is not a minor. Earlier this May, the Kerala High Court set aside the marriage of Shafin Jahan and Hadia and entrusted her custody to her parents. The orders were based on the account given by Hadia's father, who alleged that his daughter was forcefully converted to Islam and also alleged Shafin's links with terror group ISIS. Earlier, the Supreme Court ordered a probe by the National Investigation Agency into the matter to ascertain whether there was a wider anger of love jihad in the case. And hearing the bail plea of Unitech Limited Managing Director Sanjay Chandra, the Supreme Court today said that it will consider it only after the real estate firm deposits 750 crores by the year end. The bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra said that the money that is to be deposited in the Apex Court registry will be used to refund home buyers who want their money back. The court also directed the authorities of Tihar Jail, where Sanjay Chandra is currently lodged, to facilitate his meetings with his company officials, financiers and lawyers so that he can arrange the money to refund home buyers and complete the ongoing housing projects. The next hearing will be held in the second week of January. In other news, India and Pakistan held Director General of Military Operations level talks on Monday. The request for the unscheduled hotline interaction came from the Pakistani side. Indian DGMO Lieutenant General A.K. Bhatt conveyed to his Pakistani counterpart that support to terrorism by the Pakistani army is unacceptable. He said that the Indian army will continue to take all retaliatory measures to respond to such acts. He also rejected Pakistan's allegations that Indian security forces resorted to unprovoked firing along the line of control. The Indian DGMO reiterated that the Indian army will continue efforts to ensure peace on the borders, clarifying that Indian army does not target civilians. Politics. And BJP National President Amit Shah addressed a public rally in Javali and Banikhet of pole-bound Himachal Pradesh. Addressing rallies in Kangra district that sends 15 legislators to the 68-member House, the BJP president said that the people of Himachal have made up their minds to vote against the Congress and help the BJP make it a model state. Amit Shah alleged that crime and corruption have alone increased under the rule of Congress. He will be in the state for 2 days, during which he will address 4 rallies and hold party meetings, including the state party's core group. Elections for the 68-seat Himachal Pradesh Assembly will take place on the 9th of November. Results will be declared on the 18th of December.
कि अगले 5 साल तक हिमाचल में किसकी सरकार बनेगी, किस पार्टी की सरकार बनेगी, किस व्यक्ति की सरकार बनेगी और किसके नेतृत्व में सरकार चलेगी। मित्रों, 5 साल से हिमाचल में जिस तरह से एक कांग्रेस की सरकार चल रही है, पूरे देश भर में इस देवभूमि के नाम को शर्मसार करने का काम एक कांग्रेस सरकार ने किया है।
Meanwhile, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi chaired 2 meetings with party general secretaries on the issues of demonetization and GST. Party leaders said that the meetings were convened to chalk out plans for the first note ban anniversary that the Congress is observing as Black Day across the country. Speaking to media persons after the meetings, Rahul Gandhi claimed that India's economy has been adversely affected by demonetization and GST.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी और उनकी सरकार ने कहा है कि वो 8 नवंबर को सेलिब्रेट करेंगे, खुशी मनाएंगे। जो देश के दिल में फीलिंग है वो शायद प्रधानमंत्री को अभी तक समझ नहीं आई है। जो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने नोटबंदी की वो ऑल एंड आउट एंड आउट डिजास्टर था। पता नहीं किस चीज का सेलिब्रेशन करेंगे, मगर 8 नवंबर हिंदुस्तान के लिए दुख का दिन है।
A quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit, including the top international stories in just a bit.
When it comes to the political stature of President Xi Jinping, he has almost been exalted to the status of Mao Zedong.
He is the chairman of everything. Chairman of the party, chairman of the Central Military Commission, chairman of the National Security Commission.
An aggressive and a Xi Jinping who has a brute majority. Are there reasons for India to worry?
If China wants to be at the center stage, obviously other countries would get marginalized, including India.
Expanding the economic ambitions, is it really going to be a cakewalk for President Xi Jinping?
There are competitors elsewhere. Secondly, the state-owned enterprises are actually, they are consuming a lot of capital.
Has Chinese President Xi Jinping surpassed the historic stature of Mao Zedong? Watch To The Point with Professor in Chinese Studies at JNU, Srikanth Kondapalli, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated the Vigilance Awareness Week 2017 on Monday. Vice President Naidu stressed that clean polity is imperative for India to become a stronger economic power. He also stressed that every citizen can enjoy his rights and lead a better quality of life only if there is good governance.
सीवीसी ऐसी ही पवित्र दीप ज्योति से समाज में सत्यनिष्ठा, पारदर्शिता और जवाबदेही के उजाले भरे मील के पत्थर.
Inaugurating the Vigilance Awareness Week 2017 on Monday, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that India must strike at the roots of corruption. He also hailed demonetization as an important step in weeding out corruption.
The black sheep in all walks of life are a visible face of corruption. They thrive in a system that has low accountability, low transparency, and then cumbersome, poorly understood procedures and high discretionary powers. It is this system that we should reform and transform. That's why the Prime Minister has given a 3-line mantra. He said, reform, perform, and transform.
The Vice President also underscored the importance of a strong civil society and the role of a free press and independent judiciary in good governance. He said objective and balanced reporting by a neutral media that is ethical in its functioning will have a huge impact.
स्वराज्य मिल गया, स्वराज्य को स्वराज्य के रूप में बदलना चाहिए। तो प्रधानमंत्री ने भी कहा विकास मेरा लक्ष्य है और विकास के लिए सुशासन भी चाहिए. Development is the agenda. But at the same time, the development, if it to reach people, you need to have good governance.
The Vice President expressed hope that the Central Vigilance Commission that organized the Awareness Week, along with other bodies like the Central Information Commission, the Election Commission of India and the Controller and Auditor General of India, will contribute to a clean and corruption-free India by 2022. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. The first consignment of wheat from India to Afghanistan through the Chabahar port in Iran was sent on Sunday. The route bypasses Pakistan that has been denying land access to Afghanistan. India has termed it a victory against all odds created by Pakistan.
The first shipment of wheat from India to Afghanistan through the Chabahar port in Iran was flagged off on Sunday. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and Afghanistan Foreign Minister Salahuddin Rabbani flagged off the shipment via video conferencing from Delhi and Kabul. The shipment was sent from the Kandla port in Gujarat. Sushma Swaraj hailed the move as a victory over odds created by Pakistan in connecting SAARC member Afghanistan with the rest of the group's member countries.
The wheat that is leaving the Indian shores today is a gift from the people of India to our Afghan brothers. It is testament to the continued commitment of the government and the people of India to support our Afghan brothers in building a normal, peaceful, prosperous, secure and bright future for themselves. At the same time, we are thankful to the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran for providing assistance in facilitating the movement of this gift through Chabahar port. This shows the convergence between the three ancient civilizations of India, Iran and Afghanistan to spur unhindered flow of commerce and trade throughout the region.
This is a special occasion. Afghanistan, the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan and Republic of India. Last year, as Madam Minister mentioned, the leaders of our three nations signed the Chabahar Agreement, a landmark and mutually beneficial economic initiative for Afghanistan, India and Iran. And today's event shows that the important project to which we committed has transformed into reality.
The shipment is part of India's commitment to supply 1.1 million tons of wheat for the people of Afghanistan on grant basis. 6 more wheat shipments will be sent to Afghanistan over the next few months. In June, India and Afghanistan launched an air freight corridor between the two countries to boost trade after Pakistan refused land transit access through its territory. The Chabahar port, located on the southern tip of Iran, allows India the opportunity to bypass Pakistan to access trade points in Afghanistan. Also, the move to send the first consignment is a major initiative as Iran is also involved in this freight transport at a time it is facing threat of sanctions from the United States. However, it seems that an understanding has been reached between India and the US on operationalization of Chabahar for development purposes. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has said during his recent visit to India that the US was not opposed to the people of Iran. This is Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And here's a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. At least one person was killed and nearly 57 injured after an all-iron bridge collapsed in Chavara near Kerala's Kollam district today. There were around 70 people on the walkway bridge when the incident took place. Relief and rescue operations are still going on. The Enforcement Directorate has attached over 500 properties with a market value of about 200 crore rupees in connection with its money laundering probe in the alleged illegal granite quarrying scam of Madurai in Tamil Nadu. During the investigations, the ED identified about 517 immovable properties valued at 98 crore rupees as per book value. After heavy rainfall, several parts of Chennai have been flooded. The northeast monsoon, which is set over last week in Tamil Nadu, has brought widespread rains across the state and heavy showers in some parts. According to the Met Department, the rainfall will continue for another week. However, flights have not been disrupted, though a few departures and arrivals got delayed briefly. A Delhi court reserved its order on the CBI's plea seeking advancing of hearing on its application for polygraph tests on 9 students in connection with the missing JNU student Najib Ahmed. The CBI had on the 16th of October approached the court seeking early hearing of its plea, seeking consent of the suspect students for a polygraph test. The application was moved by the agency on the direction of the Delhi High Court for an early hearing of the plea, which has been adjourned to 24th of January 2018. YC Modi, a 1984 batch Assam Meghalaya cadre IPS officer, today took over the reins of the country's premier anti-terror organization, the National Investigation Agency, as its new Director General. He succeeded Sharad Kumar, a 1979 batch IPS officer of Haryana cadre, who completed his tenure. International news, and in the latest on the crisis in Spain, Spanish authorities have charged Catalonian leaders with rebellion and sedition. Dismissed Catalonian President Carles Puigdemont and the Speaker of the Catalan Parliament, Jaume Forcadell, have been charged with sedition, rebellion and the misuse of public funds. The move is the latest in the drive to crush Catalonia's independence movement. Earlier on Monday, Madrid's control over Catalonia was tested as it was the first day of work after the Spanish government announced its direct rule. Work resumed normally and the streets remained calm despite calls for civil disobedience from secessionist politicians. The Spanish government has given former officials of Catalonia's institutions just a few hours to collect their things from their offices. But the Catalan Interior Ministry's SAC Director General made his way to office, saying that only the Catalan government could terminate him, not the Spanish government. Meanwhile, Catalonia President Carles Puigdemont's party held a meeting in Barcelona to discuss the next step. Catalonia's parliament had declared independence from Spain on Friday in defiance of the central government, and the Spanish government responded by approving direct rule in the breakaway region. Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy dissolved the regional parliament and called for elections on the 21st of December. Here are more updates from across the world now in Global Buzz. A freight train took its first journey on the new direct China-Europe route from Wuhan in China to Dorges in France. The train, carrying 42 containers of sportswear, will pass through Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, Poland and Germany and will arrive in France in 16 to 18 days. This will reduce the original transporting time by nearly 20 days taken by ocean shipping. About 16 Wuhan Europe freight routes have been launched since 2012, linking Wuhan with more than 60 cities in Europe, Central Asia and West Asia. A Pakistani anti-graft court issued a bailable arrest warrant against Finance Minister Ishaq Dar after he failed to appear before it in a corruption case from the Panama Papers scandal. Dar's counsel appeared in the court and sought his exemption from appearance as he was in London to seek medical treatment. However, the court rejected the plea and issued a bailable arrest warrant and ordered him to appear in the next hearing on the 2nd of November. Saudi Arabia will allow women to sport stadiums for the first time from next year. According to the General Sports Authority, women will be allowed into 3 stadiums, which include the King Fahd Stadium in Riyadh, King Abdullah Sports City in Jeddah, and Prince Mohammed bin Fahd Stadium in Dammam. And the stadiums will begin preparations to accommodate families from early 2018. Last month, the Saudi king had also issued a landmark decree that allowed women to drive from next June. And finally, let's get you all the updates from the world of sports in SportsBeat. India defeated New Zealand in the final one-day international to win the 3-match series. The men in blue won the last match by 6 runs to back the series 2-1. Chasing a victory target of 338 set by India in Kanpur, The Kiwis made 331 for 7 in 50 overs. Skipper Virat Kohli scored his 32nd century to become the 6th Indian to complete 9,000 ODI runs. From the Kiwi side, Colin Munro top scored with 75 runs. India and New Zealand will play 3 T20 matches starting from Wednesday. In tennis, eighth-seeded Indian shuttler in badminton, in fact, Kidambi Srikanth won the men's singles title of the French Open Super Series badminton in Paris, and this was his 4th title in the 5th Super Series final. Srikanth defeated Japan's Kenta Nishimoto 21-14, 21-13 in the final. The Badminton Association of India announced a cash reward of 5 lakh rupees for Srikanth for his French Open Super Series win. India's junior men's hockey team won the bronze medal in the Johor Cup after defeating Malaysia. India defeated the hosts by 4-0 after losing to Great Britain in a hard-fought encounter. 2 goals from Vishal Antil and 1 each by Vivek Prasad and Shinanand Lakra helped India to win the medal at the tournament. Roger Federer has pulled out of next week's Paris Masters, virtually ensuring old rival Rafael Nadal will end 2017 on top of the world rankings. 19-time Grand Slam champion Federer has said that his body needs a break after winning his 8th Swiss indoor title on Sunday. Federer beat Argentina's Juan Martín del Potro 6-7, 6-4, 6-3 in Basel to win the title for the 8th time. With the win, Federer trails world number 1 Rafael Nadal by 1,460 points. Lewis Hamilton became Britain's first 4-time Formula One world champion at the Mexican Grand Prix, despite enduring the worst race of the season. Hamilton fought back from last place to 9th after a first-lap collision with Ferrari rival Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton now has a lead of 56 points with 2 races remaining. That's all we could pack in on the news at 6. Thanks so much for joining us.